Hi, I'm Arden Compton, and I want to show you how to use emotional freedom techniques, or EFT tapping, for a universal problem. And this universal problem is that our ego needs an enemy or an adversary or a problem of some kind. How I'm defining ego is simply the natural self, okay? It's a little hard to define sometimes. It's what we consider to be our body, our mind, our thoughts. Our ego is often defined by our past, our possessions, our reputation, the opinions of others, all this life experience. And it says, this is who I am. And it creates an object. We define ourselves as a separate object, and we see others as separate objects who we label in one way or another, typically as superior or inferior to our own position. And for the identity of this separate self to exist, we need to have other objects be in a juxtaposition against us. We need an enemy or a challenge or a problem. And this sustains the illusion of the separate self. I say illusion because it is an illusion. We're actually all very much interconnected. If you look at quantum physics, every particle of the universe is connected to every other particle of the universe. It can be quite complex. From a spiritual perspective, we're all children of God. We all come from the same divine source, and we're all interconnected. And the illusion of separation is very powerful, very hard to shake, because our physical senses are constantly getting our attention and claiming that this is all we are, this is all there is to me, is this. But it isn't all there is to me. We're all a part of each other. We all interact, not just we interact with each other, but we're literally interconnected spiritually, on a deep physical level. If we get down into quantum physics again, we're interconnected. But this need for an enemy, the need for an adversary, the need for a problem, a challenge, that really sustains the ego illusion. Conflict sustains the ego illusion. It's when I'm in conflict, I'm an object in conflict with another object. This is easily seen in our political world as craziness. Both sides need the other side to be the bad guy. Both sides are invested in proving the other side is bad and we're right, and they're evil and we're virtuous. But it's not just politics. It can happen in any interaction between groups or between people. It's very common in marriages, sadly, that a spouse will come to see the other spouse as the problem, as an enemy, as an adversary. It can happen between, again, any two people, any two groups, parents, children, neighbors, whatever. It happens all the time. So I wanted to show you how I would address this using the EFT tapping. This is, again, it is a universal problem. If you don't think this is your problem, it is. At some level, there's a part of you, and it's not consciously, it's not that we consciously want an enemy. You know, if you're married, I know I don't want my wife to be my enemy. I don't want her to be my adversary. But there's a part of me, this ego natural driven thing, that does want that conflict. And so it's very counterintuitive in a way, because consciously, nobody wants that. Consciously, we claim to want peace. And we do. We do want peace. But there's another part of us that becomes very restless in that state, and it wants something else. It's the other illusion of the ego, which we could also go, I'm not going to go to this one, but the ego says, I need something more. And we could talk about that also, which I'm not going to go to that right now, because that's a whole nother topic. I'm focusing on this one. So I'm going to show you how I'd use the EFT, or emotional freedom technique tapping. If you're not familiar with EFT, there's a ton of other videos. I've got a few, and there's hundreds of others that show the basics of the process. I'm simply going to tap on some acupuncture points. I want you to consider who the adversaries in your life are. Who are your enemies? What is the source? Who do you consider to be your problem? What are the problems that cause you angst in your life? Think about that and plug that into what we're about to do, because there could be 1,000 different enemies or adversaries or problems or opponents, and you've got yours, whatever it is. So focus on yours. I'm going to tap on this in a very general way to hopefully you can plug yours into this. Focus on this idea. I'm going to tap on the acupuncture points on me. You follow along on you. Okay, so tap on the side of the hand. We first start focusing on the negative element of this. Just say this need for an enemy. I still love and accept myself, even though I need some kind of an enemy, an opponent, a problem, something that's agitating me, some conflict. I still love and accept myself, but even though consciously I don't want any of that, there's a part of me that's orchestrating it. Okay? This need for an enemy, orchestrating conflict, restlessness without conflict, this need to create a problem. I've got to have something I'm working on, a problem to be fixed. I need somebody else to correct. I need somebody else to be to blame. I need somebody else to be the bad guy in this scenario. I need somebody to help me reinforce the illusion that I am separate. This illusion that my body and my thoughts define me. Okay? And the need for conflict to sustain the illusion of ego. But I don't want this conflict, and I don't want anybody to be my enemy. So I'm letting go of this illusion. Nobody is my enemy. We're all interconnected. If I hurt somebody else, I hurt myself. If I bless somebody else, I bless myself. Anger at another person backfires and it hurts me. It destroys my peace. But the ego loves anger. The ego loves defiance. The ego loves having somebody to be to blame. The ego loves being right. But the ego can only be right if somebody else is wrong. The ego needs somebody else to be wrong to prove that I'm right, to make me superior and the other person inferior. So I need a conflict. Well, the ego needs a conflict. The ego needs that enemy, whether it's a spouse or a family member or a political party or a religion or whatever it is, or an addiction, something that's a struggle, some kind of a problem. But I'm letting that go because we're all interconnected. We're all divine beings, part of a greater divine whole. We're all children of God. And you can rephrase this depending upon your spiritual perspective. But most spiritual traditions have this fundamental common ground that we're all divine beings in one way or another. So as divine beings, no one is my enemy. When I let go of the illusion of ego, I see my divinity. That doesn't put me above anybody else, when I authentically see my divinity, simultaneously, I see the divinity of others. My worst enemy is also a divine being. The person I think is the most despicable is also a divine being. And we're all going through an earthly experience with a bad case of amnesia and the illusion, the ego illusion of separation. And letting it go, connecting to a deeper truth. We're all one. We're all one family. We are all divine. And as I see that, I can be patient. I let go of judging and labeling others. They're just doing the best they can with the lens they have on life, which came from their life experience. And I haven't experienced their life experience. So I choose to be patient. I choose to be forgiving. I choose to be kind. I choose to have compassion and love. Love those who are unlovable. Love those who haven't earned my love yet. Forgive those who haven't earned forgiveness. And let go of judging. Let go of condemning. Let go of shaming. Let go of blaming. And as I seek to bless the lives of others, my life is blessed. As I forgive others, I am forgiven. As I extend mercy to others, mercy is extended to me. As I am kind to others, it brings me peace. I'm letting go of the need for an enemy. I don't need an enemy. I want peace. I choose peace and goodwill for all people. I hope this has been helpful. God bless you on your journey. Feel free to reach out if you have questions or comments.